Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Director Nat, back for another Star Wars reaction, and today we're going to be watching The Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 2. This episode is called Cut and Run, and it's only 30 minutes this time as opposed to 75 minutes, so it's going to be much more manageable when editing this reaction later. Not that I didn't love the fact that the first episode was 75 minutes long, I just didn't know that it was 75 minutes long going into it, so it's just a good thing I gave myself plenty of time to react to it. But anyway, getting back to this, I really did enjoy the first episode of The Bad Batch. I prefaced that reaction by saying I was going to be a little more reserved and skeptical with this series, and that is still true. I'm going to, see if it keeps winning me over. But yeah, the premiere really did impress me. The Bad Batch are growing on me as characters. I really like the addition of Omega, and I think that they did a good job setting up what this series is going to be. One thing I want to note is that I actually changed my mind on something that I said in my last reaction. I said it would be more compelling if Crosshair was hunting down the Bad Batch of his own free will rather than being under the control of the inhibitor chip. But the more I thought about it, I actually realized it's more compelling that he's doing it because it's not his own choice. Because being perfectly honest, Crosshair was already the most unlikable member of the group. He was always the one causing tension and questioning other people's decisions. So it would have been easy to just say Crosshair's a bad person. He'd be willing to sell out his brothers because he's more loyal to the Empire. But the fact that he's the only one under the control of the inhibitor chip adds some depth to his character because it shows that despite his rough exterior, underneath he's still a good person who cares about the other members of the Bad Batch, and he would never be hunting them down if he didn't have a choice. It actually makes me more interested to see how his character develops over the season, makes me more engaged as to whether he'll be saved or not, or whether he's gonna die, or whether he'll kill one of the members of the Bad Batch. So yeah, that's something I just kind of wanted to address before we go into this episode. And I'm very curious to watch this episode for several reasons, because last time it ended with them going to a planet that I think they said was called J19 to meet up with a character they know. It's probably going to be a character that we've seen in some other piece of Star Wars media. I just can't think off the top of my head who it's most likely to be. Part of me is also hoping that it'll be a new character because I really did enjoy all the cameos that we got in the premiere. But like I mentioned a few times already, every time you include a pre-existing Star Wars character, Star Wars fans are automatically going to be like, oh, these characters just have to know each other. Everything has to be absolutely connected. So I do think that they need to balance that out by adding new characters and situations and being a little more careful about which characters they include going forward. Then again, if it is an existing character, they could find a way to work that character in a way that makes sense. And like I said, having these bits of connected tissue over the different movies and TV shows helps the saga feel connected, and like all these stories are, building on each other. Mostly though, I'm just interested in what the show's going to look like going forward, because the first episode gave very big Clone Wars Season 8 vibes, especially at the beginning. So now that that stuff is out of the way, and now that the Bad Batch are on their own, I'm just, what's this show going to look like? How is it going to differentiate itself? How is it going to keep me engaged? I guess there's only one way to find out, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right into it.
Well, this is a first. Inspecting every corner of the ship finally tied her out. Hunter, she's a child. What are we gonna do with her?
That is something that a lot of fans have brought up, is that the Bad Batch are, this group of soldiers who are going to be going on a lot of dangerous missions, so where exactly does a child like Omega fit into that? I don't think this is a planet we've seen before. I didn't know there was this much green in the whole galaxy. Again, this is something I really like, taking these little moments to show her wonderment with the universe. It helps us, the audience, feel like we're experiencing these things for the first time, or at least making them feel special. Aw.
So this friend of yours, what's he doing all the way out here?
Hiding. That's what deserters do.
Oh! This is the deserter from that one season 2 episode of Clone Wars.
Single tripwire. That's cute.
What do we have here? More clones.
It is them.
It's been a while, fellas.
Wonder how they know each other. Because this deserter, left at the Battle of Geonosis, like the very beginning of the war, so...
Where's Crosshair? It's complicated. Sounds familiar. Rex told us about the clone troopers turning against the Jedi.
Oh,
Ali passed through yesterday.
so this is interesting that he still keeps in contact with certain clones. And so I guess Rex passed through here after he and Ahsoka went their separate ways.
I have to do what's best for them.
Oh, is he gonna think that Omega should go with them? Well, that's a cool ship.
You want to know how to disappear? Put being a soldier behind you and make a new life for yourself.
Yeah.
Omega! Got it!
Oh.
Omega!
Oh. Oh. That was in the arena in Attack of the Clones, wasn't it?
Do you realize you could have been killed? Easy. She's not a soldier.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get the ball. I didn't know.
See, this is one of the benefits of having Omega here. They bring out a different side of the Bad Batch.
Tech, you think you can forge some chain codes? I only learned of them moments ago, but yes.
This is something else people have brought up, and something that I'd kind of vaguely been thinking about, but I hope they do more to distinguish Echo and Tech, because, I mean, their personalities are different, and I think Echo is a good addition because he's a character we're more familiar with from the Clone Wars, and he's a regular clone, but still. Oh. Not used to seeing her like that.
I want Omega to go with you. You two can give us something that we can't.
Is that what you really want?
It's what she needs.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some Mandalorian Baby Yoda vibes.
You could create a database to identify anyone in the galaxy.
Glad you're impressed.
Getting a little real world.
That is our way in.
You're suggesting we call the
Of course, this is another approach they could take. They could highlight the similarities between Echo and Tech in terms of skills, but highlight the differences in their personality so they can bounce ideas off each other. That's a good strategy too.
You did what?
Oh, wait. What?
I have this under control.
There's one big problem. Omega's on the ship.
I think it's a good plan, Tech.
So much for simple.
I also noticed that Omega, like, she was just crying a few minutes ago, yet she's already trying to act happy again. Like, you can tell that she feels the need to prove herself to these guys, one, because she looks up to them, but also maybe she's had to do that her whole life.
I don't see any discs, Tech.
They'll be locked in a safe compartment.
Yeah. This was a good strategy to go with, showing Echo and Tech working together on, you know, a similar skill set, but showing the differences between them at the same time.
That is not ideal.
We're in agreement on that one.
I can tell I'm gonna like their dynamic as the season goes on. Aww. Sorry, little R2 unit. Or astromech droid.
Wrecker,
I can tell I'm gonna like their dynamic too, because Wrecker basically just is a child at heart.
I got it right here. Oh, right. Must be in this hat.
Tech accidentally made 5 discs instead of 4.
You didn't tell her?
Tell me what? Did I do something wrong? But I want to stay with you.
We're holding up the line.
You have to go, Omega. It's for your own good.
Is she actually going to go and we'll maybe not see her for an episode or two? That would be interesting. Maybe it would backfire when she gets caught by Crosshair and is used as bait, maybe? Now I find out if that code is worth the price we paid.
You're clear. Go on through.
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
Move.
I also like that we're getting a bit more of a serious side for Wrecker.
Wait, Omega's not back.
Wrecker, she's not.
Wait for me!
Oh no.
Is there a problem?
You look like... Any reinforcements at the impound dock? Carry on. That was close.
I thought he was gonna be like, wait a minute, there were 5 of you, why are only 4 boarding? Oh. Wow, they got a gaunt droid.
I left Camino with you. This is where I want to be.
Tell you the truth, kid, I guess I've got a lot to learn too. If this is where you want to be, then this is where you'll stay.
Alright guys, so that was The Bad Batch Season 1 Episode 2. I admit I was worried that this would suffer from second episode-itis, which is that the first episode is really great and then the second episode feels very underwhelming by comparison. And with the first episode kind of moving on from the Clone Wars Season 8 vibe, I was wondering if the rest of the season will continue to win me over. But this was a really solid episode and I really did enjoy it a lot. I thought it was very interesting that J19 turned out to be Seleucami and we saw the deserter character from season 2 of the Clone Wars, which makes me wonder how he knows the Bad Batch, like, because he deserted the clone army at the Battle of Geonosis, like, the very beginning of the war, and the Bad Batch presumably weren't created until later because they're named after 99, so I'd be very interested to see maybe like a book or comic explaining how they met, but I guess we can just leave it to the imagination for now. And we got that little detail that Rex passed through here. I guess that he went through there after he and Ahsoka went their separate ways after the Clone Wars finale, so this is cool. It makes sense that clones would look for other clones, and it makes sense that this guy would keep in touch with other clones that he still feels that he can trust. I thought this was another really good episode for Omega, showing her dynamic with different members of the Bad Batch, particularly with Hunter and Wrecker. I can tell Wrecker is going to be like her big brother or fun uncle, because Wrecker really is, you know, just a child at heart, so I figure that those two will get along well. And again, I like kind of the father-daughter relationship that's developing with Hunter, them both kind of having to figure out this whole thing because it's just not really something they've done before. And yeah, this is a bit of a concern that I and some other fans have. It's a concern that can also apply to Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian, is that the Bad Batch are a very effective unit, and that has the potential for some, you know, darker and more serious stories. But then you bring an innocent child like Omega into the mix, which adds a lot more heart and can lighten the mood. And while that does have the potential to be a downside at times, I still think that she really works as part of the group dynamic. Adding that bit of heart to the show is something that I felt the group kind of needed, and I can tell that she's going to bring out a different side of them. So yeah, I still really like her as an addition to the cast. And I think that's what I appreciate about this show the most, is just the little moments that they take. Just the little moment for Omega to be amazed by this new planet and even dirt. The little moments showing the different members of the Bad Batch reacting to certain things. The moments of tension where everyone's not sure if things are going to work out. And building off the last episode, I like that we're getting to see a little more of the emerging empire, the policies they're putting into place, how it's starting to affect the people of the galaxy. That is kind of interesting what Tech said, because now that the war is over, the empire is promoting themselves as the good guys and a new age of opportunity, so people are willingly giving up their freedom and for the sake of security, like what was going on at the end of Revenge of the Sith. And even though it's just the beginning of the Empire's reign, we can already see the inherent flaws in how the Empire operates, because they're creating problems where there otherwise wouldn't have been ones, like putting this tight stranglehold on the citizens, expecting, you know, complete order and security out of them, is creating tension and problems that otherwise wouldn't have been there. But it did make for a really interesting episode with the Bad Batch trying to sneak off world, and it led to some cool action scenes, so I guess that's a plus. Another detail I like was that for a majority of the episode, Omega takes off the headband that she's wearing and lets her hair fall down. It does a good job of representing that we're seeing a bit more of her vulnerable side, and we also see that where moments where she's, experiencing sadness for the first time and not being able to fit in with other kids and feeling that she's disappointing the people that she looks up to. Again, moments like this where we see a different side of the character just helps them feel more fleshed out and interesting. And we get little moments like that too, where even Tech, as emotionally detached as he is, even he looks genuinely upset when Omega is really scared and upset after what happened. And we see Wrecker being a little more serious. So just stuff like this makes me more engaged with the Bad Batch because it fleshes out their characters and makes them more interesting. Some people, myself included, have been wondering how they're really going to distinguish Tech and Echo because they do have kind of similar functions. They're both tech related, and while they still have a ways to go in that regard, it seems they may have found a solution that they focus on Tech and Echo being a duo who have to work on similar things. There's some things that one can do that the other can't, and their personalities are still different and they come from different backgrounds, with Echo being a regular clone and Tech being a genetically modified clone. So it seems that they've found a solution for the time being, so I would like to see more of those two working as a duo. Some more details I like, we're getting to see more of Saluka Mai. I like seeing that cat creature that I think we saw in the arena battle of Attack of the Clones. And I like that Omega is kind of finding what her role is within the group, how she can help on missions and maybe do things that the others can't. Or at the very least, she's going to feel the need to get involved because, she still wants to prove herself to them. I think it is smart that they are focusing that for Omega because that can be a problem with a character who is, very nice and is very skilled and capable, is that if you focus on that too much, then, that can make them not quite as interesting. But focusing on Omega not really knowing much about the galaxy around her and making mistakes because of that, and having a deeply internal desire to prove herself, like something she is trying to achieve, and what balances the other stuff and makes her really interesting. Also like that moment where the clone almost got recognized by the other clone soldiers. I was sure that he was gonna get caught, and maybe they could do something like that down the line, but I am glad that he got away for the time being. And again, I do like this father-daughter dynamic between Hunter and Omega, and I like how at the end they both acknowledge that, I'm new to this, I'm still trying to figure it out, and there's a little more tension now because Hunter, at least in Omega's eyes, basically tried to get rid of her. It'll be interesting to see what their dynamic looks like going forward. So yeah, guys, I am still really enjoying the Bad Batch so far. It definitely has a lot of things that I liked about the Clone Wars. However, unlike that show, which was an anthology series, this is tightly knit and focused on a central group of characters, and I like how the episodes build off each other. It looks like this show has me hooked and that it's going to keep winning me over, but I guess I just have to keep watching to find out. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. What did you think of this episode? What are your thoughts on the Bad Batch so far? What are some of your predictions on what's going to happen next? Whatever it is, feel free to share your thoughts down in the comments and let me know what you think. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content. Also be sure to check out my other videos. It really means a lot. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for the next Bad Batch reaction.